It's 5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
All right, welcome in, everybody. It is your Patrick Johnson Show here on a Overreaction Monday. Little armchair quarterback Monday. Welcome in. I'll be headed to the tiebreakers. Happy birthday, Bram Anderson, by the way. I'll be headed to tiebreakers in a little bit to talk with Coach Houston, as will Steve and I go join us. That's coming up at 6 o'clock on 94.3 The Game and other fine radio stations on the ECU Sports Network. But right now, a little thing we like to call the PJ Show with our radio clubhouse this afternoon. Philip the Ref Pilkington, fresh off a successful trip to and from Charlotte. Pilk will be carrying him through the last little bit of the show as he and Dom Kasulki witnessed the debacle known as the Panthers-Vikings. And it was a Vikes win over the Panthers. Did Dom give you any razzing, Philip the Ref Pilkington, or was he a gracious guest of yours at the Panthers game?
He was a very gracious guest, and I think me knowing the Panthers were going to lose going into it may have probably helped that one a little bit, but he was very respectful.
We're going to have plenty of time to talk about this week, but, I mean, just a thought before we get to Sunalder, and plus Brian Mull will be joining us today to talk about the other debacle that was known as the U.S. performance in the Ryder Cup. But, Pilk, Bryce Young's not the guy. I mean, we've got to come to that conclusion, right?
I disagree. I think he's throwing the ball over the middle of the field well. He's got to work on his balls outside the numbers, especially the pressures in his face. I mean, he's getting sacked as much as Joe Burrow did his rookie year, and he looks better than Peyton Manning looked his rookie year. I'm not saying he's going to be Peyton Manning, but Peyton was atrocious as a rookie. 30 interceptions in 16 games.
He's diminutive, and he can't see over his offensive line, and he completes a decent percentage, but they're putting him in high percentage throws. He can't push the ball down the field. The Panthers have a lot of problems.
They have a lot, and I don't think quarterback is the first problem.
No, I think quarterback
is
not. It's not first one, but if you think of what they gave up to get him, it is a big problem.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the trade. I don't think there's many guys coming out that I would be up for trading as much as they did. I mean, you look at guys like Andrew Luck, John Elway coming out. Those guys were high enough to give up that much. But you've done what you've done. You've made your bed. You got to lay in it. And I think there's a lot of knowledge in this room when you look at Frank Reich and Josh McCown. And he's only 4 games in. 16 quarters is, like I said, there's a lot of guys I would hate it if you judged them on their first 16 quarters in the NFL.
Well, he also missed a game. So
that's right, 12 quarters. 12 quarters.
12 quarters, yes. All right. We'll be plenty of time to get into that this week. Let's go now to our guest line where the one and only Sonny Sunholder, ESPN college football analyst, joins us here, as he has done every Monday this season on the Patrick Johnson Show. Sonny, what's going on? How are you?
What's
Ladies,
up,
he's with us on video in case you want to check him out there. Well, we'll start with East Carolina, Sonny. I mean, 24-17, a loss to Rice in front of – there are more people on this call now than were at that Rice game. I mean, that was atrocious. I mean, it looked like a COVID game.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way it's always been. When I was there back in 2005, 2007 timeframe, I think it was the same crowd of about 10 people. It's probably the same people that were there. But it's a tough atmosphere because you want to be playing in front of a full house and have that energy. And unfortunately, with their program, they don't have fans out there. And we kind of knew going into that ball game it was going to be tough being on the road and kind of having to bring your own energy and just being in that atmosphere where there's no crowd there. And usually you'd be like, oh, it should be easier because you don't have a loud stadium or you don't have those normal factors, but it's just a different challenge out there. And unfortunately for the Pirates, they didn't get the result they were hoping for.
I mean, there's nothing to draw off of there. Nothing. I mean, you want a little bit of hostility if you're the visiting team.
It's sad when the walkthrough's about as loud as the actual game.
Yeah.
That's unfortunately the deal there.
And I mean, they've put a little money into the thing now, but it's not what it was by any stretch of the imagination. Some positives I think I would take from this, and everybody's going to accuse me of being softball lobbing positive Pirate Pat, but that's okay. I'll take it. But, I thought when he had time, Alex Flynn is looking more and more comfortable. He got pretty beat up in this game. Javius Bond was our best running back. Soul, not Sal, Soul, Chase Soul has, at least in this game, emerged as somebody who could make a catch on a 50-50 ball. Pirates had a couple of others that they weren't able to get. I really, the concern is you get down into the red zone or you get down in the goal-to-go situation and you cannot produce points. That, to me, in this game is the concern. The fans have been angry all year, so, I mean, we've railed on them. We've seen what they've had to say. Fine. But I do agree that it is a little disconcerting to get the ball in a goal-to-go situation. You have a bigger offensive line, and you're not able to punch it in some of these situations. And you had 3 opportunities after they took the lead. You got the football back, and you couldn't do anything with it. So, I mean, while there are positives, there are still areas that need vast improvement.
Well, and that's the thing about it is those positives that we're seeing, you're going to need those moving forward. But the areas of improvement have to get fixed, and the red zone issues. In order to win, you've got to clean that up. And I know that that's going to be a major focus this week in practice and moving forward. So you would think that's going to get corrected because there's going to be a spotlight on that. It's just unfortunate, ECU wasn't able to connect in that ball game because if they were able to execute, probably would have resulted in a win and a different outcome. So, you just wish that that ball game could have been a win because then you got 2 wins in a row heading into the bye week with a huge home game against SMU coming up, and it could be a different story. Right now, the momentum from the Gardner-Webb game kind of stopped because this game didn't go our way. And I think the players, the coaches, the fan base, everybody is upset after this one because it's one they really wanted and we could have had. It's all going to be about now putting that behind us and then making sure there's vast improvement during this bye week because this SMU team coming in is going to be a test and we're going to have to play a lot better and fix some of those areas.
SMU handled Charlotte over the weekend. The great Kevin Wiggins, who played for the Pirates back on the Liberty Bowl teams, sent me this yesterday. Out of 130 teams, ECU is 122nd in penalties. It's not a good number. It means you're top 10 in penalties committed. Total offense, 128. Passing efficiency, 129. Rush offense, 91st. Passing offense, 120th. Interceptions, 114th, which means you're throwing a lot. First downs, 121st. Third downs, 95th. Fourth downs, 86th. Sacks allowed, 76th. Time of possession, 81st, although they won the time of possession battle at Rice. Red zone offense, 20th. Field goals improved the number. So, yeah, I mean, it's still a real problem offensively. When you get to the open week, usually you are maybe, okay, here's what we have not done well. How do we improve it, or do we flush it and go in a different direction? And how do we accentuate what we've done well? You're still probably going to get a week of good on good. You're going to try to get younger guys reps. But how much does this period change this week where you have no game? I know the team was off yesterday. How does all this sort of change, Sonny, over the next several days where it's a little different than maybe the normal bye week?
Well, I'll tell you what, going into every bye week, I always wanted to win because if you have a win on a bye week, it makes things so much easier and so much better. When you have a loss going into a bye week, kind of expect for it to be pretty miserable because you can't get that taste out of your mouth. And you have to expect, on the outside looking in, what I believe is happening is, positions are going to be up for grabs and there's a full evaluation all the way from the top to the bottom as far as how to get things fixed. And this isn't going to be an easy period. I mean, with this extra time, the team, the coaching staff, everybody is going to work and really, it's going to be open there. Whoever steps up, there's going to be a competition. It's going to be good on good. The coaching staff, I'm sure, is looking at everything from A to Z, including, play calling, including schemes, including, everything, how to get things fixed, how to make things better. In addition to scouting SMU and getting a leg up there, they're opening everything up on their end to try to find ways to improve. And then with the players, I mean, they're going to be going hard at practice because obviously there's got to be improvement, in all levels of the organization.
A to the Z, as the late great Iron Sheik would say. A to the Z. That's what you got to take care of this week, everything. Defensively, now Rice didn't run the ball. JT Daniels is so good, even on, a bad wheel, was still effective. Wasn't great, but effective. I thought the Pirates did a pretty decent job of bottling up Luke McCaffrey until the fourth quarter came around. And again, I think there was a little bit of fatigue there for ECU in the fourth defensively because they're just out on the field so much. But, I again liked what I saw out of the Pirate defense, and right now that's the bright spot. Look, as crummy as things are at 1-4, the defense has at least kept the team in games where they've had an opportunity, save Michigan. I mean, I think you toss the Michigan out, you toss Gardner-Webb out, even though it was a win. And I think what we've seen in those three games is a defense that has allowed you to stay within contact of your opponent. And maybe that's something you can build on. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it is, there are bright spots. And even on offense, there are guys that have stepped up and shown promise on defense.
Yeah, there's just not been any consistency on offense. There's been no consistency on offense.
Right, but on defense, there's bright spots. But, I mean, there has to be improvement everywhere, even on the defensive side.
Right.
I mean, the defense can be better. Everything needs to be, evaluated. I do think the defense has been physical and given the team a chance. I just think moving forward, again, it's not where they want to be, and the record isn't there. And just the performance overall, it's kind of disappointing, right? But now, all about moving forward. It doesn't mean like it's going to be like this for the rest of the year. It could get worse, but it could be better. It's all about improvement, right, trying to stay healthy, and making sure that these mistakes are fixed because there's still a lot of the season left. And yeah, right now it doesn't look good. But if guys step up, if things are different, if things change, they can get on a hot streak. It's not like we're going through the AFC East schedule here. I mean, the American
right
has good teams, but if
the American's up for grabs. Right. The American, you got Tulane, but there's nobody, even Tulane doesn't have a stranglehold. I'm not saying East Carolina could make the conference championship, although mathematically they could. But I think you have an opportunity really to be in every game.
Yeah.
I mean, in other words, even though somebody's the favorite according to Vegas, as this game proved, you should be able to stay in every game in the conference. And if you improve on these things, you should be able to rack up some wins, I would think.
Yeah.
But, gosh, there's just got to be a lot of improvement.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, if there is an improvement, you could lose all these games. But if there is improvement, there is no team on this schedule that's left that is scary. Now, if you don't play well, you could lose all of them. But if you improve, I mean, realistically, there's no ceiling on this because it's there for the taking. But again, you've got to fix these issues. And I think this bye week, again, it's not going to be fun for the players and the coaches, but this is the right time to have it.
All right. Sonny Sunholder going to be back with us. More to come. We're going to get into some other college football. Don't forget Inside Pirate Athletics with Coach Houston coming up tonight from Tiebreakers. Brian Mull still to come this half hour. Big sunny guy is Brian Mull. So we'll have more with Jay. Philip the Ref Pilkington with an update. All of that still to come.
R&D Brewing is proud to partner with the ECU Pirates, and now you can enjoy Pirates Brew, the official craft beer of ECU Athletics. Pirates Brew is a carefully curated light beer that embodies the spirit of ECU, a refreshing and easy drinking light beer. Pirates Brew by R&D Brewing is available now at grocery stores, local retailers, and at ECU athletic events.
Head over to your favorite store and enjoy a nice Pirates Brew today, or else you'll walk the plank. Hand me another Pirates Brew. Arr.
Fifth Street Hardware is the home of the $9 lunch special Tuesday through Fridays. $9 specials every day, including the famous Burger Day on Tuesdays, Flatbread Pizza Wednesday, the famous Fifth Street Hardware Reuben on Thursday, and fried fish or shrimp on Friday. Plus trivia on Wednesday nights and live music every Thursday nights. And the Prime Rib Brunch Buffet has returned on Sundays. You heard that right. The Brunch Buffet with all the great items, including prime rib. Fifth Street Hardware in downtown Greenville.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast. Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina. Southern Living's best small town.
Just because voice-over IP telephones are the latest technology in the telephone world doesn't mean they're the right choice for you and your business. Whether your internet provider is unable to support a voice-over IP phone system, or you don't have a need for high-tech features and simply want to stick with a traditional system, Spain Telecom is here to help. Spain Telecom offers a variety of services to keep your business connected and competitive. We're confident we can find the right phone system for you and your business, a system that addresses all your communication needs. Looking for a new phone system that won't break the bank? In addition to new systems, Spain Telecom also offers gently used systems that are in great shape and can save you money. No matter your needs, Spain Telecom has a solution for you. Whether it's voice over IP, on-premise systems, new or used, give us a call at 252-353-2006 and let Spain Telecom help you with your communications needs.
Hey Pirate Nation, I'm head men's basketball coach Mike Schwartz.
And I'm Kim McNeil, head coach of your defending American Athletic Conference champion women's basketball team.
Basketball season is just around the corner and we're looking forward to another exciting season on the hardwood.
We need Pirate Nation to Pat Minji's Coliseum by purchasing your season tickets today.
Call 1-800-DIAL-ECU or visit ECUPirates.com to get yours now.
Thanks, and go Pirates.
You ready for this?
Oh, I'm very ready. Okay, ready?
You ready?
Streaming to the world at 943thegame.com. This is the Patrick Johnson Show. Now in all his glory, here's the P-Man.
All right, Sonny Sunholder on an Overreaction Monday here. You know, Sonny, we're both guys that watch the NFL. We enjoy it. I don't have a team. You really don't have a team. But, boy, Sam Howell, what a throw he made to send that game into overtime yesterday against the Eagles. And then I think it was a catch along the sideline. It was ruled incomplete. But he got kind of hosed on that call, as did Riverboat Ron Rivera. But I just felt like saying that because that was some decent ball. That was really the only decent game I watched yesterday. Everything else, watched a little bit of the game in the morning. And, boy, Atlanta's stinky. Whew. It's a bad football
You watched
team.
Taylor Swift last night. Don't lie.
I actually did not. I saw all the stuff this morning on social media about it, and that was whose box would you have rather been in? The Swift box with all the other stars or the Aaron Rodgers box? I know which one I would have rather been in. But which one would you, Mr. Social?
Aaron
Okay,
Rodgers.
see, that's surprising. I'd have rather been in I'm going to surprise you. I'd have rather been in the Swifty box because I love stars, and I've been rubbing elbows with stars. You thought I was going to say Aaron Rodgers because it was very peaceful and quiet and in there, but you surprised everybody by saying you wanted to be in the Aaron Rodgers box, and everybody thought you, the social butterfly, would want to be in there with Swifty. I'm the one that loves stars, so that's why I would be around that. All right, want to talk about NC State. They lost to Louisville on Friday night. Had a lead in that game. I think we're up 10-0 even at one point and lost that game. They've got Marshall coming to town this weekend. It's going to be on that hideous CW network production that the ACC is doing. And it is like Cable 7 is higher quality than that so far. But let me ask you something. The Pack are in trouble this weekend. Marshall could be 5-0 very easily after the. Anybody in Wolfpack Nation that thinks, okay, well, we'll have a chance to get it right this weekend against the Thundering Herd is sorely mistaken.
Honestly, I think a lot of the fans are worried because they don't have confidence in their team, and I think they
have no quarterback.
Well, their offense is bad, yeah, and Marshall is going to be motivated. I haven't seen the spread on that yet, but I would not be surprised if Marshall won that game. And State's schedule is tough coming up here. They're, to me, best case scenario, 6-6 for them.
They've got Marshall, then they'll be at Duke, and Duke will be mad. We're going to talk about the Blue Devils in a minute. They got Clemson there. Clemson's better. Miami coming to town. Miami's better. Wake, that's always a toss-up. Virginia Tech is maybe a win.
At Virginia Tech.
Because they're so bad. Yeah, it's at Virginia Tech. Good point. And then the Tar Heels, who are right now a better team. So, you say 6 wins. I think they'll be lucky to eke out 5.
Well, I think 6 is best case scenario.
Yeah. Well, maybe so.
To me, if they lose this game Saturday, it could be it could be four wins.
They're not going bowling if they lose Saturday.
No.
Boy, my heart broke with Duke on Friday night or Saturday night. I'm not going to say they were the better team than Notre Dame, but boy, Notre Dame did not look sharp and was really lucky to get out of there. You can argue if Duke should have blitzed on 4th down where Sam, what's his name, ran for, I want to say Sam Howell, but it's not. Sam Hartman ran for the first down. But, if you're not going to I understand why you don't blitz there, but you at least put a spy on Hartman, Yeah. And the kid from Washington, Moore, had if he intercepts it, then it's over. So, the big takeaway from this is how hurt is Riley Leonard. And if he is really badly hurt and not going to be around for a while, then Duke's season goes from very special to, maybe a bowl. If he can recover from this pretty quickly, and they do have the open week this week, so that helps, then I think this is still a season where they could be a player, because this wasn't an ACC loss. So there's still a lot for Duke to play for right now.
Yeah, on his injury, I think the initial look at is it's a high ankle sprain. So
yeah,
if he can get back here in a few weeks, Duke's going to be fine. I just felt terrible for them because they really could have and should have won that game. But it just goes to show you every game can come down to 1 or 2 plays. And if they would have stopped Notre Dame on that 4th and 16 when Hartman scrambled for it, they would have won the game and then Riley Leonard would have been healthy. So, it's unfortunate and it's amazing. And they did kind of everything they had to do. Is just Notre Dame. The difference between Notre Dame was they had the ball and they've got a portal quarterback that made a play. And, they made a play and then they, kind of got lucky with that next running play that they scored the touchdown on. And then Duke, Duke just ran out of time and ran out of gas there at the end. But I was really impressed with Duke and what they were able to do in that game. I just felt for them because they probably deserved to win that.
Devils off this week. Then they'll have State, we just talked about, but then they go to Florida State. They go to Louisville, so they've got a pretty challenging stretch coming up here the rest of the month of October before they flip over to November and then have some chances. They'll also play Carolina in the month of November. All right, Sonny, as far as games this week, I'm looking ahead. I'm taking a peek. I'm trying to get an idea of what we've got on the docket. Before we do that, our guy Joe Sloan. We love Joe. Tough loss for LSU this weekend. You talk about just and look, a great win for Ole Miss. They're still in the thick of things in the West.
The West is wide open. I mean, I had LSU as kind of a dark horse national championship candidate team. I thought they could do it. Year 2 with Brian Kelly and Jaden Daniels coming back. That's a tough place on the road, though. I mean, at Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin, they're going to score points. Felt bad for LSU in that game because obviously love Joe and he's an amazing coach and somebody that has such a bright future. Quarterback coach there with LSU. But that's a tough place. Yeah, tough place to play. And I think A&M has a chance to win the West. I think Ole Miss does. Along with Alabama, that sets LSU back. They're gonna have to run the table. But I think that West is wide open now, probably more so than it's been in ever since Nick Saban's been at Alabama.
So you got Bama at A&M this weekend on CBS 3:30. I mean, this is huge for A&M, and look what's happening there.
Bobby Petrino, the offensive coordinator, only one loss. That's against Miami, which is a really good team. So, Jimbo Fisher has that big contract, and there's pressure on him. This is probably the year where he needs to break through.
Did we lose the Sundog?
It appears we did.
It appears we lost the Sundog. All right. Well, that is that there. Also, Oklahoma, Texas. We'll talk with Doug Martin about all that coming up. Good to have Sonny on, as it always is. We love him. I want to talk about this complete disaster that was the Ryder Cup, and we're going to get Brian Maul on next segment to do that. Pilk, you ready for a 94.3 The Game sports update and Pirate report? Because if you are, we're going to kick it to you right now.
Always am.
All right. Here he is, Philip the Ref Pilkington. Stay tuned. Brian Maul still to come.
Thanks, Patrick. Philip Pilkington here with your 94.3 The Game Sports Flash update and Pirate report. We will start with the Pirates, who fell 27-17 to Rice over the weekend. And in the postgame, Coach Houston said that it was just too many missed opportunities from his team.
Well, I think just the game in general, we just had too many missed opportunities to win it. And you're going to be able to look back at several big plays where we had a chance, didn't make the play, and that's the difference in winning and losing.
Staying in Pirate athletics, over the past weekend, volleyball split their 2 matches with FAU. The Pirates won 3-0 on Friday before falling 3-1 on Saturday. The team is now 3-2 in league play and will host Tulane this Friday at 6 o'clock inside Williams-Arena Minges Coliseum. Tickets to volleyball matches all season long are always free. East Carolina women's swimming put an impressive performance out in their first meet of the 2023 season in a sweeping victory over Gardner-Webb, Catawba, and Barton. 3 Pirates won multiple events. Kaylee Hamblin was first place in the 100 and 200 meter breaststroke, Sadie Covington in the 500 and 1,000 meter freestyle, and Sarah Kolofsky in the 100 and 200 meter butterfly. Elsewhere this weekend, Europeans defeated the U.S. 16.5 to 11.5 in the Ryder Cup. This is the U.S.'s 7th straight loss on European soil dating back to 1993. The Carolina Panthers fell to 0-4 this weekend with a 21-13 loss to the Minnesota Vikings in a game in which the offense failed to score a touchdown. The Long Panthers' score came on a 99-yard pick six from Sam Franklin Jr. The Panthers will travel to Detroit this weekend. That game can be heard on our sister station, Talk 103.7. In NASCAR, Ryan Blaney punched his ticket to the round of 8 with a win at the Talladega Super Speedway, his third win at NASCAR's largest oval. And the Cup Series will head to Charlotte for the Roval this weekend in the round of 12 elimination race. That'll do it for your 94.3 The Game Sports Flash update and Pirate Report. On the other side of this timeout, we will be joined by Brian Mull to talk more about that Ryder Cup loss from the United States.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport. Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville, do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast. Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina. Southern Living's best small town.
Just because voice over IP telephones are the latest technology in the telephone world doesn't mean they're the right choice for you and your business. Whether your internet provider is unable to support a voice over IP phone system, or you don't have a need for high-tech features and simply want to stick with a traditional system, Spain Telecom is here to help. Spain Telecom offers a variety of services to keep your business connected and competitive. We're confident we can find the right phone system for you and your business, a system that addresses all your communication needs. Looking for a new phone system that won't break the bank? In addition to new systems, Spain Telecom also offers gently used systems that are in great shape and can save you money. No matter your needs, Spain Telecom has a solution for you. Whether it's voice over IP, on-premise systems, new or used, give us a call at 252-353-2006 and let Spain Telecom help you with your communications needs.
Hey, grab me one too.
Download the new IBX Media app now and get the show for your ears and eyes.
Doesn't it look great on me?
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
All right, we had Brian Mull on last week to preview things. I wanted to get him back on today. Brian, of course, covers the PGA, covers golf from all angles, at BG Mull on Twitter. Writer for hire. You will see his work in places you didn't even know existed. Brian Mull with us here on the Patrick Johnson Show. So good to see you again, Mull. You know, I thought this weekend was a complete embarrassment again for the U.S. on European soil. I get that they played better Sunday, but, I mean, you talk about too little too late. Friday was embarrassing, and then the behavior of everybody on Saturday was just a big turnoff too.
Yeah, I'm sitting there, got up in the middle of the night like a lunatic on Friday to watch the foursomes, and I thought maybe I was still asleep, but then I realized I was just watching a replay of the movie I've seen every time that we've contested this thing in Europe. It seems like the last 30 years of just poor play by the Americans, clutch play by the Europeans, and really just dug themselves too big of a hole where Saturday and Sunday were just a formality. With two sides that evenly matched, you just can't afford to get skunked right out of the gate, and that just puts way too much pressure and allows some of the younger Europeans to play freely, as we saw from Robert McIntyre, who was generally considered the weakest player on either team, and yet ended up with 2.5 points because they were able to use him accordingly, and he didn't feel a whole lot of pressure, obviously. And just a disappointing effort by the Americans. I think it exposed a lack of really alpha top talent. Over here, we have a lot of very good players at the time, but really when you look at the three best players were clearly on the European side in Rory, Rahm, and Victor Hovland.
Yeah, they're the three of the best in the world. I mean, I roll a majority of stuff Rory does, but you can't deny his game. Rahm is fantastic, and we talked about Hovland. Right now, he's the best player in the world, I think. Victor Hovland going into next year. What was the deal with Cantlay, and did that sort of dour spirit cast a cloud over the whole locker room, or were there problems deeper than that, and that was just the one that bubbled to the forefront?
Well, some more reporting today from a very credible source, the Sunday Times, quoting Xander Schauffele's father, who is also his swing coach and travels with him extensively. I've had the opportunity to meet him at Augusta. And someone who's not afraid to tell you how he feels, and said basically that there was a dispute about the Netflix documentary, which was filming its second season last week, and Schauffele not wanting to allow the cameras into the team room, maybe a compensation issue. Really hard to get some clarity there. Cantlay, his buddy, was obviously in solidarity with him. The players voted unanimously not to allow the cameras in there because they didn't want anything disruptive. Another example of the tumultuous time we're in pro golf, the division. Certainly players have the right to understand where the money is coming from, but it's just we're just in an interesting time where it just seems like the Ryder Cup is taking on a completely different face, at least from the side of the U.S.
Well, the thing that, to me, I'm struck by every year, even 2 years ago when the U.S. just dominated the European team, historically dominated them, is this means more to the Euros than it does the United States. That to me, I can't help but see that. Now, it's easy when you win to celebrate like they were, but they also were hurting 2 years ago to a man. You just don't see that from the United States team, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, I saw a lot of laughter in the post-game press conference from the American side yesterday, and I guess that's one way to deal with grief when you've been thoroughly outplayed and outclassed in front of the whole world. But the Europeans, they've always been a tighter group. I don't think anyone could deny that. And regardless of how they feel about one another, they're able to put any of those differences aside and play for something bigger than themselves during these 3 days. And I think now they've really channeled the spirit of Seve Ballesteros, who, let's face it, was the one person who instigated the turnaround from this being a one-sided affair, as it was for many years when the rest of Europe was allowed to join the team. And now with Rahm on the team, certainly an admirer of his, a fellow countryman, they've really just rallied around that spirit and not let that go. And look, let's be honest. When you look at Luke Donald's record in the Ryder Cup, it was exemplary. When you look at all their vice captains, they were all winners. When you look at the captains of the American team, they generally had a losing record and a history of losing, especially on foreign soil. All of the vice captains have horrible records in the Ryder Cup. Steve Stricker, Jim Furyk, none of those guys ever performed on that level. So it's just it's a group that's trying to do it versus a group that has done it consistently for 3 decades.
Why don't we just turn this thing over to Tiger and, dare I even say, Phil, and let's make this a priority? I mean, why do we have to continue to put people at the top in the decision that are – I mean, because essentially some guys wanted to take their buddies to Rome is what this smacks of.
Yeah, we need to simplify the whole process, and we need a stronger leader. I'm voting for Tiger and Nick Saban as co-captains. Nick will probably be done with Alabama football by the next time they go over to Europe. He loves golf. And you want to talk about someone who can coach, motivate, organize, and lead and would have the respect of the team. I mean, he knows enough about golf. He's not going to make any of those decisions, but just someone in there that has the respect of the players. And, they need to look outside the box. There's no doubt about it. This handing it down to the next guy up when none of them have proven to be very good at their job, you're going to continue to get the same results. And certainly the Americans will be a slight favorite, most likely in 2 years in New York. I can only imagine what that atmosphere is going to be like. I'm certain it'll cross many lines. But when you look at just the nature of the system, this idea that they came up with 8 or 9 years ago where they were going to revamp everything. Well, it frankly hasn't worked. They've been blown out the last 2 times that they've played overseas and can't even win the singles anymore. That was always a given for many years, that even though the Americans may struggle in the team format, they could always make a charge in the singles, but they couldn't even do that this time.
You didn't have Will Zalatoris, so that's, like a good young player that has a little bit of a killer instinct in the game to back it up. So we'll see where he is in his future. I don't think the American team was old. I just don't think the selections were very good. The captain's picks were just not very good. They were not very inspired. You didn't bring guys who were hot with you to this thing. And I still say no Bryson DeChambeau was a mistake. Who was the guy that got hot at the end of the season?
Lucas Glover.
Yeah, Lucas. I mean, why not bring Luke? I mean, Lucas Glover had figured out his putter. He's got all other aspects of his game. I mean, to me, the European guys not only were engaged, but you had guys who had been playing. I do see the value in taking some time off because it's a long season, but go with the hot hand. I just don't think the U.S. did that.
5 weeks off of competition is a really, really long time. I don't care what your skill level is. You would never see someone intentionally take anything close to that off prior to a big tournament, one of the 4 majors or any other event. And a lot of times when those guys come back in January after having a long layoff, they have to chip away some rust, which makes sense. But the way the schedule fell, Homa and Thomas were really the only 2 players who had played any competitive golf at all in 5 weeks.
And Homa was great. Homa was spectacular.
Thomas did that because he missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
But
Homa was fantastic.
Yeah, Homa was the best player by far. Certainly Cantley played great as well. And then after that, it was a whole lot of just disappointment. The schedule is what it is. There's nothing you can control about that. It would have been nice to see some of those guys come over and play in the big event that really turned out to be a barometer of what was going to happen with the BMW PGA a couple of weeks ago, because 10 of the Europeans finished in the top 20 in that event.
All right. We'll talk to you soon at some basketball's right around the corner. That's the good news. So we'll talk to you some, obviously, there. The great Brian Mole, ladies and gentlemen. Got to figure this thing out in the Ryder Cup. Got to figure it out. I like the idea of Nick Saban going, though. I think that's a great idea, actually. He can miss college game day for a couple weeks.
He'll be okay.
They could connect him like we've connected here and have him on the set. Because that's where he's going next, according to Dimitri Ravanos. He's going to college game day after he retires this year. So, why not?
He can miss a couple
All right,
weeks.
Mole, thanks. Yeah, he can miss it. They got McAfee. They don't need him there for 2 weeks, right? Actually, they do need him. I watched that thing for the first time this weekend because I didn't have anything, and they were at Durham, and I was kind of anxious to see, curious. I don't watch that show normally, and I can't say I'll be returning. It is
unwatchable.
Wolf. Oh, and everybody wants to pin it on McAfee. It's unwatchable, period. It's just unwatchable, period.
Yeah.
Patrick, they fired their best analyst in David Pollack. He was the one who carried the show last year, and ESPN laid him off. But they have the money to make an NFL game look like Toy Story, but they don't have the money to keep their best animals. Just saying.
Look at Pilk, and you'll get more pithiness from Philip the Ref Pilkington after this commercial message. Thanks to Brian Mull. Thanks to Sonny. I'm headed over to Tiebreakers. We'll catch up with you tomorrow in the morning on Talk of the Town, and then obviously 5 o'clock for the Patrick Johnson Show, where, speaking of ESPN, Marty Smith will be our guest tomorrow from ESPN. Looking forward to talking to him tomorrow. No Houston Huddle, so we got Marty Smith tomorrow. I'll see you in a few minutes also at Tiebreakers, but right now, the ref, Philip Pilkington, on the other side with a Pirate Report and more.